Hi everyone, my name is Nicole Chui and I'm an embroidery artist and graphic designer based in London. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to create empowering imagery representing allyship with the women in your life. You can use images that, of women that are in your life who you really admire. You can use images of people in magazines that you really found inspirational for you somehow. It doesn't really matter, the choice is yours. And we're going to use hand embroidery to create really uplifting imagery and really colorful, really powerful, really bold and bright creations. And hopefully you'll be able to continue after this really short and brief workshop. These are what you'll need for the upcoming workshop, alongside just a Sharpie pen or a regular pen or pencil to outline before we actually start the embroidery. But the most important materials are obviously your image. I've chosen an Evening Standard front page because Michelle Obama is on it, and I want to use this as sort of my canvas to sew on, because she, to me, is a really powerful and really important and really inspiring woman that's been in my life. Just being present in the media has already been so significant, especially for ambitious girls like me growing up. This is embroidery thread. It's really different from sewing machine thread. So as you can see, it's a little thicker. So if you end up using sewing machine thread, you're going to have to layer them, layer 3 sort of threads together in order to thread through the needle, which leads me to my next point, which is basically the fact that you need a needle, and you're going to thread half of this into the eye of the needle before you start anything, so make sure you do that. I like to get them pre-threaded, so before I start anything I choose the colors that I use. Today I'm going to be choosing red. Sorry, that's not red. I'm going to be choosing red and maybe this orange, and just bring out, I don't know, this blue as well. Have that here. Oh, actually this purple looks really nice, so I'm going to use that. And another purple, because purple represents democracy to me. So yeah. So basically what you need to do is you'll need to cut a small piece of thread like so, and you're going to have to split it in half. So each of them come with like six threads, and all you need to do is like split it. Otherwise it'll be too thick to go through the needle, which is what I'll show you next. So as you can see, I am currently drawing a line outlining Michelle just to emphasize her presence, and I'm going to sew on top of these lines. I'm also going to add some dashes around to bring her voice, I don't know, amplify her voice and make it look really powerful and strong. And it doesn't matter if these lines go over the text or the things surrounding it, because you should be as expressive as possible, so fear not. Okay, so I'm about to go in with the stitch, and make sure you have the knot tied in the back of the thread, double knots if you're working on paper, as you can see. So whilst, like I said before, go over the lines and simply follow them using a straight line technique. As you can see on the video, a straight line technique is simply sewing in a line. And the beauty of paper is you can go as far as you want with the lines, or as tighten it to each other from where you first start to put your needle in to where you next, punch a hole in and stuff. And it's really simple, so just follow that. Once you have ended your thread, sew it to the back of the sheet, basically behind the image, and tie a knot. Okay, so here's an update on where I'm at so far, and it's barely finished, but what I'm going to do is actually cut the page out because it's just so hard to work on, and I find it much easier to work on a single page after doing this. I really wanted to keep it, but I think this might be for the best. So what I'm going to do is actually use the cutting board and put it behind this front cover so that it doesn't affect the other pages, and cut through the spine and the top line of the page where it says fiasco, where the header is basically. So yeah, I'm going to use a box cutter because it's much easier and more accurate to cut straight lines with a ruler using that as opposed to the scissors that I had before. So now I'm continuing my sewing process, and I have threaded my needle. I usually cut about 20 to 25 centimeters per piece of thread, which, if that helps anybody, is a good indicator of being able to sew something without losing or tying too many knots in the midst of threading and sewing, which can be really frustrating. So here is me continuing to do that and just following the lines as if you were coloring in between, like say a color book. Treat it like that. You know, sewing can often be something that is seen as quite technical, but as you can see in this form of art, I treat it as something more artistic, as a way to express creativity. So this hopefully is a good guideline to help you kickstart your own journey into completing this and maybe, exploring it further. You can also check out my Instagram at THAT SEW NICOLE if you need any inspiration for any of your works. I know it can be really difficult without a visual aid, so feel free to do that. So I know a lot of you are beginners and have no clue what embroidery art is, so I am expecting you to probably make a few holes and tear the paper a little bit. So what you can do to actually amend them without having to throw away your piece is to simply sew on top of it repeatedly in the same straight line format that you've been doing up until that point, and that will help cover up the tear, and you'll be able to continue on happy as usual, and who knows, even make a new pattern or print, and it could be a happy accident. So I've just added a few more tweaks. I actually drew on these words respect, equal, value, but I'm not really gonna embroider on top of that because I know it's going to create a lot of holes. It's going to be really messy, so I'm going to leave it as it is and instead go over the lines. So yeah, just wanted to point that out before moving on with this tutorial. Basically what I'm doing is continuing using a canary yellow, sewing through the lines like I said before, like I was doing before, and I'm not sewing on top of the words because they're too complicated, and honestly they look good on their own. Go for stripes, go for zigzags, go for, don't be afraid to mess them about. Like I said before, this is a tutorial for creative expression and to do your own thing, and it's a great opportunity to create empowering imagery, showing your allyship with the women in your life, the women you love, the women you respect, the women that inspire you. So here is the final piece. I've simply followed the lines and added a few extra bits and bobs, just as you can see from the time lapse before, going a bit off the original penned sort of pattern that I did, but yeah, I'm really happy with it. I love that it says respect, equal, and value over here. Just small words of positivity and power, and Michelle Obama is obviously a force to be reckoned with and an incredible woman. So I hope this tutorial has helped inspire you to continue your way and yeah, maybe finish a piece. Thank you so much for joining me here at RUMAHfest. doing this workshop. I hope you've been inspired to continue. If you want to follow me, check me out on Instagram at THAT SEW NICOLE or Twitter with the same handle. If you want to see my body of work, just go on my website, nicoleemmapearlchui.com. And yeah, see you soon.